The bell above the door jingled when she rolled in. Just another Thursday evening at Marty's Diner, that greasy little spot off Highway 12, where the air smelled like coffee, bacon, and old country songs. Folks looked up when they saw her. Ellie Mae, that quiet, disabled girl from the trailer park down on Maple. 16, thin as a rail, one leg twisted from birth. Always polite, always smiling, always alone. She wheeled herself to her usual corner booth by the window, the one with the busted neon light flickering over it. "Hey, sugar," called Martha, the waitress, wiping her hands on her apron. "You want your usual?" Ellie nodded. "Yeah, ma'am, pancakes. Extra syrup, please." Her voice was soft, like she was afraid to bother anybody. The diner was halfway full, couple truckers, some old folks, and two high school jocks in Letterman jackets talking loud like they owned the place. They were laughing about something dumb, tossing fries at each other, phones out, filming everything. And that's when one of them noticed her. "Yo, check this out," said Chase, the bigger one with a smug grin. "It's that limp girl from school. You seen her TikTok? She be rolling around like..." He mimicked her wheelchair with his hands, spinning an invisible wheel and laughing. His buddy Tanner snorted, "Man, chill. Don't start that in here." But Chase kept going. "What? Ain't my fault. She looks like a broken Barbie doll. Look at her, sitting all quiet like life owes her pancakes." Martha shot him a glare. "You hush your mouth, Chase Miller. That girl's got more manners than you ever will." He smirked, leaning back in the booth. "Yeah? She can't even stand up for herself." Ellie tried to ignore him, focusing on the plate Martha slid her way. 3 pancakes drowning in syrup. She bowed her head a little before eating. She always prayed before every meal. The jocks laughed again. "Yo, she prayin'? Lord, fix my busted legs." Chase said in a fake preacher voice, hands in the air. People stared, some uncomfortable, some just pretending not to see. That's the thing about small towns. Everybody sees everything, but not everyone does something. Ellie swallowed hard. She didn't cry, not yet. Just whispered, "Please stop," without looking up. Chase stood, swaggering toward her table. "What was that? You talking to me, Wheels?" "Leave her be," Martha said sharply, stepping between them. "Go sit down before I call your daddy. My daddy owns the auto shop, lady. He don't take calls from waitresses." He leaned in closer to Ellie, lowering his voice. "You think anybody here's gonna save you, huh? You just a pity project." Ellie looked up, eyes trembling. "You don't have to be mean." For a second, just a second, it looked like he might back off. But bullies like Chase never do. He grabbed a piece of her pancake with his bare hand, tossed it on the floor, and laughed. "There, now it's at your level." The diner went dead silent. Ellie froze. Her lips trembled. Then she whispered, almost to herself, "You'll be sorry one day." Chase snorted. "Oh yeah? Who's gonna make me?" She didn't answer. She just turned her chair toward the window, away from him. Outside, the sun was setting behind the gas station, sky painted in orange and purple streaks. Somewhere in the distance, the faint rumble of engines rolled down the road, deep, growling, heavy, the sound of bikes. But nobody noticed it yet. The next few minutes felt slow, sticky, like time itself didn't want to move. Ellie kept her eyes on the window, pretending to watch the street, pretending not to hear the snickers behind her. But the reflection showed everything. Chase and Tanner sitting back down, whispering, laughing, looking her way again. Martha tried to act normal, refilling coffee cups, but her hands were shaking. "Kids these days," she muttered, under her breath. "Raised by wolves, I swear." The door opened again, a couple of bikers walking by outside. You could hear the deep rumble of their Harleys fading down the highway. Leather jackets, patches, beards, the kind of men folks gave space to, but they didn't come in. Not yet. Inside, the tension started building again. Chase wasn't done. Bullies never are. They feed off reactions. And since Ellie hadn't cried yet, he took it personal. He stood, grabbed his phone, started filming. "8 World," he said, camera pointing at her. "We out here at Marty's Diner with what's your name again?" "Oh, right, wheelchair wonder. Say hi to TikTok, sweetheart." The whole diner froze. You could feel everyone's shame fill the air like smoke, Ellie turned around, tears glassing her eyes. "Why are you doing this?" He grinned. "'Cause it's funny. It's cruel," she said softly. He rolled his eyes, leaned closer. Too close. "Life's cruel, baby. You should know that better than anyone." "Back off, Chase," Martha snapped again. "I ain't yoking no more." He looked at her, annoyed. "You ain't my mama, old lady." And that's when Tanner, his buddy, mumbled, "Yo, man, chill. You're taking this too far." But Chase didn't stop. He never could handle being told no. He reached for Ellie's plate again, but she slapped his hand away. Small, but firm. That tiny act of resistance broke something inside him. "You just hit me?" he said, almost laughing, but not the funny kind of laugh. The ugly kind. And before anyone could blink, flap, his hand came down across her cheek. The sound cut through the diner like thunder. Her wheelchair rolled back an inch from the force. Martha gasped, dropping a glass. The cook froze mid-flip with a burger still on the spatula. "Jesus Christ!" someone shouted from the corner booth. Ellie's hand went to her face, her eyes wide, red mark already blooming across her pale skin. For a moment, nobody moved. Not one damn person. Then she whispered, broken, "Why'd you do that?" Chase stepped back, suddenly realizing how quiet it had gotten. But it was too late. Everyone had seen it. The cowardice. The cruelty. Martha ran to her, kneeling. "Oh, honey, you okay?" "You okay, sweetie?" Ellie didn't answer. She just looked at him, straight in the eyes. And with a voice that sounded older than her years, she said, "One day, someone's gonna stand up to you. You'll wish it was me." Then she turned, grabbed her phone, and rolled out the door in silence. Her chair squeaked on the old diner floor, her face streaked with tears, but her spine straight. She didn't cry until she was outside in the parking lot. That's where she finally broke, right next to her old beat-up van with the wheelchair ramp. And that's when the engines came back. Vroom, vroom. 3 Harleys swung into the parking lot, black chrome glinting under the diner's flickering neon. The ground shook a little when they parked. The men got off, tall and broad, leather vests reading Iron Serpents M.C. One of them, a bearded man with tattooed knuckles and eyes sharp as ice, spotted her instantly. He walked up, slow, gentle-like. "Hey there, darling. You okay?" Ellie wiped her tears, tried to smile. Yeah, I'm fine." He crouched to her level. "You don't look fine. Somebody hurt you?" Her lip trembled. She didn't answer. She didn't have to. He glanced at the diner, then at the red mark on her cheek, then back at his brothers. They all understood without a word. The leader, the one they called Bear, cracked his neck. "Stay right here, sweetheart. We'll handle it. But please don't," he just smiled gently. "Ain't gonna touch nobody, sugar. Just a talk. Man to man." They turned toward the diner, boots heavy, vests creaking, and when they opened that door, the bell didn't jingle this time. It clanged like a warning bell. Every head turned. Martha froze mid-step. Chase looked up from his booth, still grinning at something on his phone. Tanner went pale. The room went dead quiet. The air felt thick enough to chew. And for the first time that night, Chase looked scared. The diner went still. You could have heard a pin drop if it weren't for the heavy creak of those biker boots on the tile. 3 men walked in like a damn movie scene. The leader, Bear, was built like a mountain. Long gray beard, scars across his knuckles, and that quiet kind of confidence that don't need no words. Behind him came Diesel, tattoos crawling up his neck, and Roach. Tall, wiry, eyes sharp like a hawk's. They didn't say nothing at first. Just stood there, scanning the room. And every set of eyes turned away from them, except one. Chase. He smirked, trying to sound tough. "Yo, what is this, Sons of Anarchy tryouts?" No one laughed, not even Tanner. Bear just looked at him, steady. "You the one put your hands on that girl?" Chase froze, then chuckled. "What girl?" "The one in the chair," Bear said flatly. "The one crying outside," Tanner whispered. "Bro, they saw her. They know." Chase straightened up. "Man, y'all don't know what you talking about. She was running her mouth. I just Bam! Bear's hand slammed on the counter so hard the ketchup bottles jumped. He didn't hit him. Didn't have to. Son, he said quietly, you got 10 seconds to tell me why you thought it was okay to slap a disabled girl in front of a whole damn diner. Chase stammered. It was a joke. Does she look like a joke to you? Nobody breathed. Martha stood in the corner, hand over her mouth. The cook peered out from the kitchen like he was watching Judgment Day unfold. Bear stepped closer, lowering his voice, deep, rough, full of steel. You see, my daughter, he said, was born with one leg too. She passed when she was 9. You think it's funny when people can't walk, right? Chase's face went white. Didn't think so, Bear growled. You hit her once, that's one time too many. So here's what you're gonna do. You're gonna stand up, walk outside and tell that girl you're sorry, loud, so she hears it, so we hear it. And you're gonna mean it. Chase looked around, desperate. Man, y'all can't make me. Before he could finish, Diesel stepped forward, arms crossed, tattoos glinting. Boy, you keep talking. We'll make sure you understand respect the old-fashioned way. Roach leaned against the jukebox, smirking. Trust me, you don't want to find out what that means. Chase swallowed hard. Fine. He stood up fast, bumping into his buddy. Tanner, let's go, man. Tanner muttered, Dude, I told you to leave her alone. They walked toward the door, bikers following right behind. Outside, Ellie sat near her van, eyes red but calm. She looked small against the fading sunset. When Chase stepped out, he froze again. She turned her head slowly, and the look on her face wasn't anger. It was disappointment. That hit him harder than any punch ever could. Bear nudged him forward. Say it. Chase kicked at the ground, mumbling, I'm sorry. Bear frowned. What was that? He looked up. I said I'm sorry, okay? Ellie stared straight through him. Sorry for what? He sighed, voice shaking. For hitting you. For being a jerk. Bear crossed his arms. And? Chase exhaled hard. And for being the kind of guy my mom would be ashamed of. Bear nodded slowly. Now you're talking. Ellie just whispered. Don't do it to anyone else. He nodded, then walked off, embarrassed, humiliated, but maybe changed. Tanner gave her a small nod too. Sorry, Ellie. For real. When they drove off, Bear knelt beside her. You okay now, darling? She sniffled. Yeah, I think so. He smiled faintly. Don't let nobody take your light away. You hear me? She nodded. Thank you for helping me. Bear shrugged. Wasn't nothing. Then he looked back at the diner. World needs more people who speak up when they see wrong. Most folks just sit and stare. Ellie smiled for the first time that night. He spoke up. Yeah, Bear said, standing tall again. But next time, you will too. He gave her a gentle pat on the shoulder, then turned to his crew. The bikes roared back to life, deep, echoing, righteous. The sound filled the air like thunder rolling away a storm. As they rode off into the sunset, the diner door swung open again. Martha stood there, wiping her eyes. Ellie, honey, she called softly, your pancakes are still warm. Come on in. Ellie looked down at her hands, still trembling, then smiled. She rolled back inside, head high this time. And as the door jingled behind her, everyone in that diner knew one thing for sure. The world might be full of cruel people, but it's also full of the kind who ride in when it matters most.